Okay, in this example from 9H, this is actually an example of a negative. We have a negative gradient when we plot out our lines. So let's see what we got. Let's work it out. The initial volume of water, so we're looking for the volume of water, is 300 milliliters. That's how much we have in our tank, in a dish. All right, sorry. So the water evaporates, so it goes away, and the volume decreases, and here's our rate of 50 milliliters per hour. And it does this for a duration of 6 hours. So what are we going to know here? All right, so we're going to draw a table. We're going to use T for time. So we need a total of 6 hours on our table. And we're going to use V for the volume in milliliters. So let's sketch that out first. So our hours, T for time, time is going to be as if it were our X. And so it's going to go along this way. So our time will be, we can have no time at all, and then 1 hour, and we're going to call this time in hours. And then the other way, our y-axis is going to be our V for volume, and that's going to go up. See, we have to have a total of, what was the total volume? So we have to think of this in advance. We're going to go up to 300. So we could do it by hundreds, I guess. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So 100, 200, 300. You could do it by 50s, but you just need a bit of a bigger chart. And that's the volume in milliliters. So what's actually happening is we are starting at 0 time. We've got 300 in the dish already. Isn't that interesting? So before we even start the clock, we've got 300 mils. Now what happens is every hour, 1 hour passes, and then we'll take away, we will decrease this amount by 50 mils. So take 50 off of 300 and we get 250. After another hour, we've lost another 50. Another hour, we've lost another 50. Another 50. Oh, after 5 hours, we've lost another 50. And after the full 6 hours, we got nothing left. It's all evaporated. So these numbers are actually going down. So if we plot these, the first one is, this is 0 is our X, and 300 is our Y. So that's at 0 on the X and 300 on the Y. The next one goes across, so we're moving forward in time to 1, and now we're down to 250, right in between the two. So we're at X is 1, Y is 250. And then we go at 2 hours, it's 200. At 3 hours, it's 150. You can see this going down. At 4 hours, it's 100. 5 hours, it's only 50, and by 6 hours, it's all brown burger. So connecting these all, assuming I got my halfway points right, I should get a straight line. All right, but now how do I write the rule for this? So let's start with the rule that we know and love. Y is going to equal the gradient times X plus the y-intercept. This is the gradient, and this is the y-intercept. Okay, so we got to figure out what m is. The gradient is the rise over the run. And in this case, the rise itself is negative. So in this case, we're actually going down 50 mils per each hour. So our m is going to equal negative 50. So we can put negative 50 in the place of m, but really we know that we've replaced x, the x-axis, with t for time. So it's actually going to be t. And instead of c here, we're going to put in the y-intercept. Well, the y-intercept is where x is 0. So the y-intercept is going to be 300. And instead of y over here, we're replacing that with v because we're actually looking for the volume. So now we've got ourselves a rule. V equals negative 50 times time plus our starting point, the y-intercept, of 300. So now we've drawn our table, we've graphed our points, we've written our rule. Now let's test it out. Use your rule to find the volume of water with the dish after 4.2 hours in the sun. Hours is equal to time. So we're going to plug in here. We've got our rule, negative 50 times 4.2 hours. That gives us, we work out all the maths, negative 50 times 4.2 plus 300 gives us 90. So the volume will be 90. Use your rule to find the time taken. So we're looking for time this time for the volume to reach 75. So, same rule. V equals negative 50 times time plus 300. But this time, that's a T for time. But this time we know the volume, so the volume is going to be 75 mils. So when the volume is 75, we need to figure out what T is. It's a T. So we need to first get rid of the 300. And that leaves us with negative 50 times T. And that's what? Negative 225. And now if we want to turn a negative into a positive, we divide by negative 50, divide by negative 50. And that gives us negative divided by negative, gives us positive T, which gives us positive 4.2. So the hours, therefore, the time is 4.5 hours. Hope that helps.